I'm alive. Welcome back for another stream. It's the Gameweek 35 deadline. How's everyone doing this morning? I hope you're all doing well. Great to have you all here. Get your questions in the chat and I will do my best to answer them throughout the stream. Lots prepared for this one. I thought we'd start a few minutes early today as well. A little bit ahead of schedule because there's so much to discuss, including what to do with a certain Kai Havertz who I still have in my team. And I have changed my mind since the team selection video, so I'm going to be selling Havertz during this stream. So the question is who to sell him for. I think there's quite a few options this week. I think Coutinho's a good option, Zaha's a good option. Maddison's a difficult one because I imagine Leicester will rotate a lot ahead of their Europa Conference League game, so I think Maddison's an avoid this week. But he looks a very good option for double Gameweek 36 and 37, which makes him a tricky asset to own because you don't want him this week, but you do want him for 36. So it just depends if you can rotate around that or not. Bobby says, thanks for the shout out you once gave me. You're welcome, Bobby. Shout out to you for this shout out as well. Ludovic says he's back. Yeah, I'm back. Good to be back. I missed the last stream. I went to Fantasy Football Fest last weekend and completely lost my voice. To be fair, I was pretty hungover the following morning, so I didn't make the stream the next day, but good to be back. And thank you all for being here for this deadline stream. So loads prepared for this one. We'll have a look at the news roundup in a minute. We'll have a look at the scout selection, Kings of the Game Week, the latest news, top predicted points for this game week, double Game Week 36, all sorts. And we'll keep an eye out in case we get any last minute leaks and whatnot. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Do like the stream if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Get your questions in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. And I will be making my transfer this stream, and it's Havertz who's leaving the team. Norwegian Gamer says, Kane or -4 to De Bruyne. I don't think this is the week to sell Kane. You could make the case for it in 36 because Spurs face Liverpool away and then Arsenal at home, but I don't think I would be selling Kane this week ahead of a very good fixture, in my opinion, against Leicester at home. Nirash, thanks for the donation. He says, Havertz to Saka or Coutinho? Really good question that. So if you don't own Saka, he's obviously another standout Havertz replacement. And I would say between those two, I would go Saka. Just about. Not much in it. But I would say my top three Havertz replacements in order would be Saka, then Coutinho, and then Zaha. So yeah, that would be the order I would probably look to replace Havertz in, depending on who you own. We'll have a look at the news roundup in a second, actually, because I do have a little bit on Saka in that. So let's start with that, actually. Let's go through the news. Start of Leicester, and this season Sam Martin's kind of been our guy for all things Leicester. He tends to give us early news and whatnot, but he doesn't know the lineup yet for the Leicester game, but he did say our team for the Spurs game is going to be ridiculously weak. Genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we make 10 changes. Now obviously they have Europa Conference League next week against Roma, I believe. I got that mixed up on yesterday's video, but I think it's Leicester v Roma and West Ham v Frankfurt, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we could expect a very rotated Leicester side, which I think plays into the hands of Spurs, which is why Kane and Son are very good captain options. Bit of Man City news, John Stones and Kyle Walker are out of the Leeds game this weekend, so Cancelo still looks completely nailed. There's a chance Walker's not even back this season. I wonder whether someone like Zinchenko becomes an option or not, but I don't think I'll go there. I think it's got to be Cancelo, Diaz or Laporte. Probably not worth gambling on Zinchenko. So Reguilon is out for the game this weekend, so that means they've got both fullbacks out, Doherty and Reguilon. So perhaps we'll see Sessegnon playing in wing-back. Not sure who the other one will be. Hopefully not Kulusevski, but we'll have to see. And the Arsenal news, Saka, we were talking about, he came off injured last game, but he was spotted back in training. Arteta said hopefully he'll be fine to face West Ham. He had some issues in the final part of the game, but he's recovered well, and we expect him to be fine. And the other point to note there was that Arteta confirmed that Saka is on penalty duties, so I think he's the best Havertz replacement. One thing Tuchel actually said on Havertz is Havertz had a kind of shape and form that would have put this game to bed for us. He needs to fight back into his shape. Hopefully he shows a reaction. They don't arrive fully fresh at the moment. So I wonder if Havertz is benched for this one and then perhaps returns to the starting 11 for double Gameweek 36. So that's why I'm looking to sell Havertz. As soon as I brought him in, he's leaving my team. Mazzolani says, Pookie or Dennis? If it's who to start this week, I think Dennis. But if it's who's a better asset, longer term, I would say Pookie. I think Pookie's a great budget forward for double game week 36. VX Slingy says, is double game week 36 or 37 better? 36 is definitely the better one. There's something like 12 teams that double in 36. And in 37, 5 teams double, and Man United blank. So 36 is the big double, basically. James says, I bought Mount, not Havertz last week. Keep or sell? I think I would keep Mount if I had him. He looks like the one who's more assured for minutes. It's Havertz who looks like a bit of a rotation risk comparatively. What I will say is there's a chance that Havertz and Mount both get dropped this game. It's very possible. But you can see Havertz's minutes are a bit up in the air recently. Benched against Arsenal, came off at half-time against Southampton, whereas Mount's just been starting every game basically for the longest time. It's not out of the question for them to both be benched, but I think Mount's a decent pick, and I'd hold him if I had him. Abdullah says, any early Palace news? I don't think so. Let me just double check. Palace news. No, nothing yet. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll check later in case we get any news. Not just Palace, but perhaps we'll get some early Liverpool news, perhaps a leak or something. Because Liverpool is the first game of the day. And they kick off at 12:30 away at Newcastle. So yeah, I'm not sure if Mateta plays KM. Deepesh says, Sarr or Ramsdale? I think I would start Sarr between those two. Not much in it. Mohammed says, pick 2 to play, Pookie, Weghorst and Dennis. I think I would start Weghorst, definitely, and then it's between Pookie and Dennis. I think I'd start Dennis between the other two. Aston Villa are actually up there on the clean sheet odds, so perhaps a tough game for Norwich. We'll have to see. Let's have a look at how the scout selection's lining up for this game week. I'll read it out in case we've got any audio-only listeners, but in goal they got Forster, interesting pick. Back 4 is Robertson, Cancelo, Johnny and Sessegnon. Midfield 5 is Salah captain, De Bruyne, Son, Mount, Coutinho, and then up top on his own is Nketiah. What do you guys think of the draft? Interesting they've gone for Robbo over Trent, but I realise Robbo's been doing a bet between the two recently, but I still think Trent's a better asset. Coutinho, I love that pick. Mount, maybe slightly risky. De Bruyne, Salah, Son, love that trio. If anyone's got that trio heading into this game, they're laughing. Daryl says, thoughts on Mahrez at City? Is there too much rotation? Yeah, it's a really risky one. I'd only consider Mahrez at this point if I was really chasing, trying to make up the points where no one else is looking. Because he is the type of player that's capable of playing these non-stop games, so it's very possible he plays both in the double, and he's obviously capable of double-digit hauls. I think he's got something like 5 or 6 double-digit hauls this season, despite limited minutes. But I'd only consider someone like Mahrez, really, if I was chasing, looking for a huge differential. I think heading into 36, Foden for about the same price is a better pick. But this week it's really hard to predict the Man City lineup, I have to say. I've got a graphic from Jump the Wave, which we'll have a look at shortly, and she basically gets people's predictions off the forums, mainly the Man City forums and the Chelsea forums, to try and gauge how they're going to line up for the game week. Hayden says, Focal, thoughts on Havertz replacements? I have no Spurs. Do I do Havertz, Tuchel or Zaha? So it depends who you own. I think the top 3 Havertz replacements, I would say, are Saka, then Coutinho, and then Zaha. I'm not sure about Kulu because they've got a poor double game week 36, obviously. So I think Kulu would maybe be 4th choice. If you can stretch to Son, I think Son's an excellent pick. Omkar says Van Dijk, Son to Cash, KDB or Van Dijk. Ramsey to Cash, Coutinho -4, or just Van Dijk to Laporte or Cash. I wouldn't be selling Van Dijk, definitely not. And I don't think I'd be selling Son either. Van Dijk, Ramsey to cash, Coutinho. I don't think I'd be selling Van Dijk, I'll be honest. I don't think Van Dijk is a sell. I think he looks a season keeper to me. So I think you're looking for transfers in the wrong places there. Again, you're looking to sell Ramsey, and I think Ramsey's fine as well. Him and Gordon, the two best budget players in the game right now, I would say. I like the cash pick, but I think you're looking in the wrong places for your transfers there, Omkar. I wouldn't be looking to sell Van Dijk or Son. I realise cash and KDB are good picks, but it feels quite sideways to be selling Van Dijk, and likewise to be selling Son, if that's what you're saying. It's a really, really good fixture for Spurs. I think they'll beat Leicester comfortably. So I don't think I'd make any of those moves, to be honest. But I'm not sure what other players you have, so I can't suggest anything else. Bawley says, best strikers to bring in. I think Nketiah has emerged as a real option. I think he's 5.5 mil. Started the last few in a row. He's been doing pretty well. Let's just bring up his recent numbers. Yeah, he started the last few in a row, despite Lacazette being available, interestingly. And they play West Ham this weekend, and West Ham obviously going to have one eye on the Europa League next week. So he started the last three in a row, got 2 goals against Chelsea. His underlying numbers have been much better than Lacazette's, which is why I think he continues to start. So I think Nketiah is an option, but it depends what price range you're looking at. I think Pookie's a really good option, maybe not this week, but bringing in for Gameweek 36, decent double for Norwich, and they've still been scoring goals, to be fair. It's not like a couple of seasons ago when Norwich were all but relegated and they lost their last 10 in a row and there were just no returns coming from anywhere. Pookie's actually been ticking along despite, I'd say, Norwich's fate looking sealed. You know, you can see he scored 4 goals, 2 assists in his last 6 or 7 games, so I think he's another one. Kane, if you can stretch to Kane, I think he's a really good option this week. I've got the armband on him. Thank you everyone for tuning in so far. We've got 811 tuned in. If you're enjoying the stream, do please like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really, really appreciate it. Supports the channel a lot. Mikey says, start Pookie or Mateta. Pookie. Sanjay says, sell James for cash. What else are you going to sell him for? Gold? That's such a bad joke. No, I don't think I'd sell James this week. I think, although he's a high rotation risk, I think I'm going to keep James for the rest of the season. So I don't think I'd be selling James personally. I'm planning to keep hold of him. He was absolutely sensational against Man United. I can't believe he didn't walk away with a return or two that game. Hit the post. He was so involved, created big chances. You know, he was on some corners. He looks like he's got a huge hole in him at some point, and I don't want to miss that hole. Carl says, morning, help please. A is Maddison, Cornet and Sarr to Coutinho, Saka and Forster, or B, Cornet and Reguilon to Ramsey, Gordon, Laporte. Oh, Ramsey or Gordon and Laporte. And finally, do you think Broja starts? I don't think I would be selling Maddison. I feel like Maddison's one that you're going to just want back in as soon as you get to Game Week 36. It's a really good double Game Week 36 for Leicester. And then they've got another double on 37. So, if possible, I'll try and keep hold of Maddison. Maybe, if you've got Broja, you could find a way to sell him for Nketiah, if you haven't got him. So option B was Cornet and Reguilon to Ramsey, Gordon and Laporte. I like that option a lot more. Cornet's a sell. Reguilon is obviously a sell. He won't play this week. Laporte's an excellent replacement. I think I actually like Ruben Diaz slightly more than Laporte out of the City centre-backs. The reason being is Stones is still out. So Diaz is their only right-footed centre-back. And Pep loves having right-footed centre-backs and right-back, left-footed centre-back and left-back. And they do have Ake available, so I just wonder perhaps if we see Ake and Diaz centre-back at some point. I'm speculating a bit there, but Diaz normally is the most nailed City defender when available. He's just had an injury this season that's made him obviously play a lot less. So yeah, I would consider option B, not A. And I think I would go for Gordon and Diaz. That would be my picks. Hopefully that helps. Indra Neal says, Mr. Focal, Mr. Focal, Captain Son or Salah. Let's have a look at the predicted points, because this week I don't want to tell anyone who to captain because it's so tight. This is courtesy of FPL Review, and there is absolutely nothing in it this week. Kane's top with 6.9 predicted points, but Salah's second with only 0.1 less predicted points. Son is on 6.7 predicted points, so there's really nothing in it. I think those are the three standouts. You could punt on someone like KDB as well, but I think it's definitely between those top three. When it's so tight, I think you just go with your gut. I'm going with Kane personally. He's going to be, I would say, quite a fair bit less captained, or his effective ownership will be a lot less than Salah's, so he's got the highest upside, so I'm backing Kane myself. Adam, thanks for the donation, mate. Appreciate that. And Jack Miles, thank you for renewing the membership for 5 months. If anyone's interested in becoming an fplfocal member, there's a link in the description. You get early access to my videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord where I give team feedback. And Jack asks, Fofana or Tavares as a budget defender? I would say Tavares. I think the Leicester defenders are a big rotation risk, so I don't think I would be going there personally. Tavares I think is a good option for 4.3 mil. He started the last couple, in fact played the full 90, taken up some good positions, and obviously Tierney's out for the season, so he looks pretty safe in left back. The only person really that might threaten left back is Cedric, if he plays Tomiyasu right back and Cedric left back, but I think he's safer than Fofana anyway, so I would say Tavares, mate. Keep your questions coming. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this deadline stream. Let's see. XIX says Havertz to Foden. I'm not sure if this is the week to get Foden. I think Foden is a Gameweek 36 transfer. It's really hard to predict the Man City lineup this week, I have to say. We'll have a look at Jump the Waves graphic in a bit, and she has done her best to predict the Man City and Chelsea lineup. She does it every week based on what all the fans in the forums are saying. So generally it's the best picture we can get of how teams will line up because it comes from the fans predicting it on the forums. So we'll have a look at that. Some interesting predictions this week, especially Chelsea's. Ryan says I missed the super chat. Sorry, Ryan, let me scroll up. Where was it? Ask it again, Ryan. Sorry, mate. I found it. Zaha or Coutinho was Ryan's question. Tough on this. I would say Coutinho just about edges it, but I think over the remainder of the season they actually score very similarly. What I like about the Coutinho move first is that he gives you the option to still get Zaha later down the line if you want to, for someone else in your team. So for example, I'm probably going to do Havertz to Coutinho. This stream I'll make that transfer, and then perhaps in 37 I'll do Kulu to Zaha. That's what I'm looking at. So Coutinho is my answer to that. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks Mickey as well for the donation. No message with that one, but thank you Mickey. Appreciate that, mate. Mark says, can we see the doggo? I don't know if you can... hang on. Ted? There he is. Now you can see him. Hajir says, who are your changes this week? So I'm going to go Havertz to Coutinho. That's my only move. I was tempted to roll the transfer, but I do wonder if Havertz gets benched because he was very wasteful against Man United. He actually finished the game week with an XG of over 1. So basically, he really should have scored in that game week. He had some really good chances against Man United and didn't convert them. So I do wonder if Pulisic or maybe Ziyech or maybe Lukaku gets a chance. Could even be Werner, Havertz and Mount that all get rotated this game. So it's hard to call. But I do wonder if we'll see some rotation. Perhaps he misses this one and then he's back for Wolves. And then maybe a cameo against Leeds before the FA Cup final. Or, sorry, is it semi-final? Yeah, semi-final. BT says Doherty to Young. So Young's an interesting one. I was looking at him because Digne is expected to miss the remainder of the season. Might make it back for the last game week or two. Ask a question again, Mickey, and I'll keep an eye out for it. But yeah, the problem with Young, I read that maybe they'll give, I forget his name, but there's a Villa youngster left back who might get minutes before the season's over, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, Ashley Young, he's getting on a bit now, and Villa haven't got too much to play for, so perhaps they'll give a youngster a game. Seppo says, would you sell Son for Foden? Definitely not. No, definitely wouldn't. 100% I would be keeping Son this week. He's a captain option, which tells you everything you need to know about whether to sell Son or not. Ali says, hey Focal, should I bring Watkins in for Weghorst? Difficult one that, because Weghorst's numbers have actually been really good recently, and it's a game against Watford, so I think there's a temptation to keep hold of Weghorst, but that one's a coin toss. I'd say they're probably about equal on predicted points. If you've got no other moves to make, then I would say do it, but you might find rolling the transfer will be more valuable, because you can take 2 into Gameweek 36, assuming you don't have 2 already. If you do have 2 transfers, then yes, I'd make that move. I think you might be better off rolling, but it's a tough one that. Having 2 transfers heading into a huge double game week is so powerful. Edmund says, hello from Singapore. I have all 3 chips left. Use the free hit this week or Game Week 38. So what are your other chips? It depends what the chips are. 36 is the standout bench boost. I don't know what your other chip is though. Triple captain. I feel like free hit in 37 is probably the best time, but it depends on your other chips. I don't know which chips you're referring to. Yeah, let me know where you guys are watching from around the world. Tag me in a photo. Take a photo of wherever you're watching from. Tag me on Twitter and I'll retweet it. Zane says, tell us the cash. Yeah, I love that move. Good move. Tell us the cash. I rate that. Axel says, Barnes to Foden. I like the Foden pick. I just feel like maybe it's a week too early. But I do understand why you'd want to sell Barnes. I think Barnes was benched in the Europa Conference League, so perhaps he starts the Tottenham game. But yeah, I can understand the temptation to get rid of Barnes. Definitely. Carlton's tuning in from Kenya. John's watching from Seattle. Wow, what time is it in Seattle? Must be early hours there. Branty's tuning in from Ghana. Dubai, Singapore. Tanay is watching from the United Arab Emirates. Shout out to Afif in the UK. Australia. Anyway, let's have a look at who the most transfer players heading into Game Week 36. Game Week 36, Game Week 35. Jesus is top. I'd love to know what you guys think about this one. I think this one's a bit of a reactionary transfer. Obviously, he got that 24-pointer last game week, but does he continue to start? I'm not convinced he does. So I'm not sure about that one. Cash is second. I can understand that. And likewise, Watkins, Nketiah, Coutinho. Dennis is up there. But Jesus, I don't know about that one. 250,000 managers have picked him up. But most of these names here are pretty logical. Good moves for the most part ahead of the double game week. And the most sold, let's just refresh it so we've got the live numbers. Saka's the most sold. 215,000 have sold Saka. I mean, as Arteta said, as we were saying earlier, there's a fair chance that he's good to go for this game week. And we know that he's on penalty duties now as well. Kane's up there. I mean, some of these have the potential to really punish. Saka and Kane, the 2 most sold, is pretty shocking, I have to say. Son's up there as well. Kulusevski. Some of these I think will punish, I have to be honest. But we'll see how this game week plays out anyway. Mira's watching from Australia. Bavesh is watching from the Caribbean. Ashvir, South Africa. Mami's watching from Saudi Arabia. Global stream, this one. Love it. Love to have so many people tuning in from all over the world. Let's check if we got any Palace leaks and whatnot. Doesn't look like it. Or any Liverpool news. Nothing by the looks of it. Keep your questions coming. Appreciate everyone that has tuned in so far. So let's have a look at the top players for points over the last 6. This is a graphic I prepared yesterday, and Son is actually still top over the last 6, despite a couple of blanks. Kane's up there as well, despite those blanks, which shows that we shouldn't forget how good these assets can be, even after a couple of blanks. So they're still captain options as far as I'm concerned. Robinson's up there, Salah, Saka, Matip, Bruno Guimaraes is up there, Romero from Tottenham, interesting one. FPL Junkie says Cash and Watkins for Shaw and Werner for a -4, as Werner is a risk starting against Everton. Yeah, I like those moves, Junkie. I can totally understand the concern with Werner, and obviously Shaw is an easy sell as well. I think he was benched last game even, and yeah, Cash has got Norwich at home and then back-to-back doubles, and yeah, like you say, Werner is a rotation risk as well. So I like those moves. I'd say those are 2 very good transfers and both nice upgrades. Aero Nation says, would you captain Son over Salah? So this week on the predicted points, Kane, Salah and Son are all about even. So the way I would approach it is, if you want to chase the upside, then go for the differential, because they're the same on predicted points, so therefore Son and Kane have the highest upside. I've just seen Falston in the chat. Falston, how you doing, mate? I'm going to a stag do literally the second this stream ends, and I'm going to see Falston later. Can't wait to see the boys. Have we started on the beers yet, Falston? He says, hello fplfocal, tuning in from Cheltenham. Oh, I've just leaked where I'm going. In fact, that's not where I'm going, so it's alright. Thoughts on Origi triple captain? Man hasn't goal... Doesn't even make sense, Falston. Man, his insane goal involvement per 90 minutes. Yeah, I think he's probably the best option if you've still got the triple captain. I mean, I'm impressed that you've still held on to it for this long, but yeah, I think he's probably the standout. If you've still got the triple captain, I'd say Origi this week. Maybe next week when Liverpool will have a double. Will says Rafinha to Smith Rowe or Kulu. Plan to get Son next week. Between those 2, I would say Smith Rowe, but there's not much in it. Recently, Smith Rowe's come back into starting 11, and Martinelli's been the one getting benched. But yeah, it's a bad double game week for Tottenham, Liverpool and Arsenal. So I think Smith Rowe just about edges that one, but there's not much in it. But if you can stretch to Coutinho or Zaha, I assume you've got Saka already, then I would go there instead. Jason says, listening in the gym, Coutinho captain for the win. Oh, big shout that one, Coutinho captain. Interestingly, his stats at home are significantly better than away. In fact, I probably should make my transfer before I forget, so let's get Coutinho in. Right, Havertz out. Aston Villa. Coutinho. Let's make that move. Havertz to Coutinho, confirm transfer. Imagine if I accidentally brought Moutinho or something. Pick team. There we go. So yeah, Coutinho is in. That's it. That's my move. Norwich at home. It's not a great double game week 36. Burnley, Liverpool, and then Crystal Palace and Burnley at home. But I think he's yeah, probably the standout Havertz replacement. And yeah, he's a big shout for captaincy. But I just wanted to have a look at his home returns. Southampton, he got the goal and assist. Leeds, he got the goal and 2 assists. Man United, he scored. So yeah, he tends to do better at home. So I like the Coutinho pick. Typo says Gabriel to Cash from -4. No, I don't think it's worth a -4. I mean, Gabriel has a double game week 36, so I'm not sure if that's worth it. Max, thank you for renewing your membership as well for 6 months. I think it's one of the longest standing members, Max. I appreciate that. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, link in the description to that. He says Havertz to Foden. I think this isn't the week to do Havertz to Foden, or to bring in Foden in general, Max. My concern with Foden is whether he starts or not. In fact, I've got the graphic from Jump the Wave, and I forget what she had Foden as in terms of starting percentage. So what she's done here is she grabs all the predictions from the forums and then accumulates them for the likelihood that the fans think players will start or be benched. So for example, they've got Kyle Walker at 5%. I think we now know that he's out, so he's definitely not going to start. They've got Mahrez at 5%. They've got Sterling at 100%, but yeah, Foden 52%. So I think, if we aggregate all the fans' opinions together, it's a good way to get a good picture of how they line up. Obviously, it's not always right, but the fans know better than the rest of us who don't follow City as closely. And they've got Foden at 52% chance of starting. Bernardo Silva as well with a pretty low chance. So, maybe Gundogan gets a start. I think they've got 100% Grealish starting. So, I think I'd agree with this. We could see some rotation. Maybe Grealish and Gundo starts, KDB. So, I think this is probably a week to avoid Foden. And I would look to bring him in 36 instead. Nico, how you doing, mate? He says, wait, is Havertz not playing? We don't know, basically. He's, we were talking about it earlier. The Man United game, he had so many chances and he was very wasteful. And Tuchel kind of pointed that out. He quite rightly said that he's been wasteful, and if he was at his very best, then he would have converted those chances. So I wonder if, maybe Pulisic gets a start, Ziyech gets the nod, Lukaku. There's a few players that could get a start against Everton. I think Ziyech, he's the type of player that's good at breaking down teams as well, and I think Everton will play with a low block. So maybe Ziyech starts, maybe Havertz gets benched. It's hard to say, but that uncertainty, as opposed to the certainty of Coutinho, makes me feel that the move is worth it, basically. Jason, don't troll. What are you on about? What are you on about? Kane's not starting. Don't give me that. Nat says, the week to bring in Laporte, already own Cancelo. I think Laporte and Diaz are very good picks. I would back them for a clean sheet against Leeds. Not necessarily the week, but I think Laporte's a very good option. So is Diaz. You can't go wrong. I think the City double-up's very strong heading into double Gameweek 36. Karen says, what changes are you making? I've made the change. In fact, I should take a screenshot and tweet it before I forget. Because otherwise, as always, I'll get stick for that. I mean, do any other streamers take screenshots and post it during streams? Surely not. But nonetheless, let's do it. Right, Gameweek 35, rank 3k, Havertz, get the arrow to Coutinho, Kane captain. Boom. As I was saying earlier, take a photo wherever you're watching the stream from and tag me in it, and I will retweet it. Love to see where you guys are tuning in from. And as always, if you're enjoying the stream, please do hit like on it. Massively appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Keep the questions coming and I'll do my best to answer them before we hit the deadline. We've got about half an hour to go. James says, would you start Reece James or Nketiah? That's a really good question, that one. I think you have to back the upside. And James looks like he's got ridiculous upside every time he plays. It's just predicting when he plays and when he doesn't. In fact, I've also got the jump of the wave prediction for Chelsea. And this is how the Chelsea forums have it. They've actually got a pretty big consensus that they think James is going to start. We'll have to see. Obviously, Azpilicueta is capable of playing right back as well. Maybe Chelsea play a back four. Very, very hard to predict. They've got Havertz at 50%. Interesting. Werner, they've got 21%. Lukaku, 64%. I guess Chelsea v Everton is Lukaku's old club. Maybe there's something in that. Maybe Lukaku gets the nod. I mean, Havertz has been fairly poor recently. So, at what point does a manager give someone like Lukaku a start again? So, it's really hard to say how Chelsea will line up. It's a very, very unpredictable week, even more than usual. But I feel like I just want to take away that risk, if you know what I mean, in my team. That rotation risk, that concern with Havertz. And just bring a Coutinho who's got a really good home fixture. Zane says, show us your doggo. He's not feeling it. He's kind of just on the edge of the chair. Teddy. No, he's ignoring me. Oh, Emil says she made a new one. Oh, okay. I'll see if I can pull that up. Yeah, her username on Twitter is Jump the Wave, so she's pretty good as far as Chelsea, Man City lineups. Oh, here we go. Update on the predictions. Bear with me. Let me just grab the graphic. Right, so this is the updated graphic. Make sure you can see that. There we go. So the updated graphic has Havertz at 33% now. Lukaku's gone up to 78%. James 83, so that's dropped slightly. It looks like they've generally got Kante and Jorginho. Pulisic 72%. I do wonder if he gets the nod. Maybe Ziyech as well. But it looks like they generally feel Lukaku gets the nod against his old team. Havertz 33%. So obviously it's a prediction, but I think it's the best we have to go on, really, is the fan predictions, because they know the club better than the rest of us. And yeah, it looks like only a third of them think Havertz starts. Shane, thanks for the donation. He says, Ronaldo's the biggest differential captain choice. I agree. I think he's a huge differential. I think he's being completely overlooked. I imagine his effective ownership will be something incredibly low, like, you know, a few percent in the top 10k. So, yeah, I mean, imagine if he gets a hat-trick or something. You're absolutely laughing if he's your captain. It's a risky one, but yeah, he's a good pick. Mark says, Mount to Coutinho, worth it. Captain Son over Mo. It's a tricky one with Mount. Havertz, I would say... Havertz, I would say he's more of a rotation risk. Mount looks more assured for minutes. I'm not sure if I'd go Mount to Coutinho. It's a really tricky one, that. I'd like to know what chat thinks about that one. Would you go Mount to Coutinho? I think I would keep hold of Mount. You know, it's a really good double game week for Chelsea. Let's not forget. So I'd be tempted to keep hold. Oh, Jason says Kane isn't starting today because he's playing tomorrow. I can't believe I fell for that. I thought you were trolling us, Jason. I was thinking, come on, you're better than that, mate. Yeah, okay, so the Spurs game's tomorrow. I walked into that. Fair play. AN10 says Robertson benched. Where are you getting that from? Is there a leak I missed? Let's have a look on Twitter. Haven't seen anything. I mean, in my case, I've got Saiss off the bench. So if we have an unexpected benching like Tsimikas, I hope that doesn't happen. But I think Saiss is a reasonable option off the bench. Hopefully I don't have to go as deep as Gordon on my bench, but he's not the end of the world either. He's looked brilliant recently, I have to say. I think the best budget player in the game right now is Gordon, followed closely by Ramsey. But I think Nketiah is a good one as well. Mark's tuning in from Sydney. Shout out to the Aussies, tune in. Mr. Sai says, is Saka playing? Arteta said that he is fine. He was spotted back in training, so I would imagine he starts, personally. I would say he starts. So a quick early look at the double Gameweek 36 fixtures. How many doubles do you guys have for 36? I imagine most people have 11 doublers. Anyone going bench boost 36? Anyone got a full squad of 15 double Gameweek players? Yeah, it's actually a really good double game week for Leicester. I wonder if this weekend they rotate a lot, but Maddison could actually become a very good option for the double in 36, and then obviously they double again in 37. But one concern with Maddison is that if they make the final, the Europa Conference League final is 3 days after game week 38. So not much turnaround, so we could see a lot of rotation in 38 for Leicester. Aponator's got 15 with a bench boost. Sirius is on 14. I'm very jealous of anyone that's still got a bench boost. James Austin's got 15 doubles. I think we're going to see some huge scores. I think we're going to see a lot of people pushing 150 points. Aiden's on the free hit 36, so Aiden's going to have 11, I assume. Zelda says Robbo benched. I've not heard anything. Someone said it in chat earlier, but I haven't seen anything on Twitter and whatnot. So we'll keep refreshing in case we get any last minute news or leaks or anything like that. But I'm not sure what the chances are if we get anything or not. Nothing yet. Keep your questions coming in. We've got just over 20 minutes till the deadline. Great deadline stream so far. I really enjoyed it. As soon as this deadline stream ends, I'm literally heading straight out to a stag do. Mate I went to uni with, getting married. So I'll be checking the scores in between pints probably. Games done 12 says Ramsdale or Pope. I think I would go Pope between those two. Not much in it. Seppo says Trent captain. I think there's better options than Trent this week. Nick Toll says Gabriel to Trent and Son to Foden for a -4. No, I don't think that's worth it, Nick Toll. It's such a good fixture for Spurs. I would not be looking to sell anyone from Spurs this game. Unless they're out, like Doherty or whatever, or Reguilon. I wouldn't be looking to sell Kulu, Kane, Son this week. As we said at the top of the deadline stream, Sam Martin's been our man for Leicester predictions, and he said he wouldn't be surprised if 10 players get rotated from Leicester. I don't think realistically it'd be as many as 10, but I think they'll rotate heavily because they've got the Europa Conference League next week. So their fixtures are as follows. Tottenham's tomorrow, and then on Thursday they've got Roma away. 1-0 on aggregate heading into that second leg. So this is going to be their complete... Oh, you can't even see that, can you? But yeah, they've got Roma on Thursday, so that's their last chance for European football. If they can win the Europa Conference League, then that means they qualify for the Europa League next season. So I think it's a really, really good fixture for Spurs, and I back them to turn it around. Murphy says Pukki or Nketiah in, mainly 36 in mind. I think Pukki just about edges that one. Just about. I imagine he'll be slightly higher on the predicted points over the next few as well, so I would say Pukki. Tricky one though. Nketiah's a good pick. I feel like Nketiah's still maybe one bad performance away from Lacazette coming back in, so that's why I would probably go for Pukki over those two. Elliot, thanks for a donation. He says, Havertz to Saka. I've got the bench boost in 36 with cash. I don't fancy a double up with Coutinho. Planning Son to Foden and Gelhardt to Richarlison. So I assume you mean the Foden and Richarlison moves are in 36, in which case, yeah, those are really, really good moves for 36. And I agree. I think Saka's a better Havertz replacement than Coutinho, so I think that makes perfect sense. If you don't own Saka, then yeah, he would be my Havertz replacement. My top 3 Havertz replacements would be Saka, Coutinho, and Zaha in that order. So I think you're bang on the money there. Son to Foden, I like that in 36, and I like Gelhardt to Richarlison. Good combination of moves that. Yeah, that looks really strong. Zelda says, is Robertson benched? I haven't heard anything. I don't think so. Ziffer says Tsimikas is injured, so Roberts... Oh, good point. I think Tsimikas was actually missing from the Liverpool squad in the Champions League. Let's see what Premier Injuries says. PremierInjuries.com is a pretty good site for injuries. It was illness, stomach cramps. To be fair, his potential return is today, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I forgot about that. He was actually not in the Champions League squad, so I would say Robertson starts. Did I miss your super chat? Sorry, Tim. Let me scroll up. Sorry, mate. Oh, Kilman to Cash and Werner to Watkins for a -4. Yeah, I love it. Those are good moves, Tim. Kilman out for the season, I think. He's got a long-term injury, so he's an absolute sell. And likewise, Werner, massive rotation risk. You know, the Chelsea predictions, we're not backing him to start, so I would say he's a sell as well. So even though it's a -4, both of those moves are upgrades. Good moves, Tim. Yeah, do it. Good moves, mate. I like that. Mr. P says, Maddison or Havertz for Coutinho? I think Havertz. I think I'd sell Havertz. Although it's unclear if Maddison starts this game week, I think he's a better pick 36 onwards because it's a really good double for Leicester, let's not forget. And then they've got the second double in 37 as well. We've got Everton at home and Norwich at home. Two really, really good double game week fixtures. So I think by the time we get back to 36, even if he's benched this week, you'll be happy to have Maddison. And then, of course, he's got another double in 37. So I would say he's... If I was to bet on it, I would say I think he scores more than Havertz over the rest of the season. So I think Havertz is the one to sell there. But you're just going to have to accept they're both rotation risks this week, basically. Stranger Man, thank you for renewing the membership for 2 months. Thank you, mate. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, there's a link in the description or the join button below. You get early access to my videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord server where I give team feedback. We'll have a look at the captain poll results on the Discord in a minute. He asks, would you take Havertz out from -4 to anyone? I would be very tempted, yeah. I'd be very tempted. I think his minutes are just so up in the air that I'd very strongly consider Coutinho. I mean, I'm backing Coutinho to get something against Norwich. Is it today? Yeah. 3 o'clock kickoff. I mean, I'm backing Coutinho to get something against Norwich, so I would strongly consider it, yeah. But it depends who you can start in his absence. So, yeah, if you've got a good option to start in his place, then I would just do that. But yeah, if not, I think a -4 is sensible. You know, Norwich at home, great fixture. Double game week 36 and then double game week 37. Back-to-back doubles after Norwich at home. Doesn't get much better, really. Oh, sorry, Mickey. So it was get Vardy 36 to 38. If Roma knock them out. Oh, I don't know about Vardy. I mean, Rodgers has said this season that he's not capable of playing, you know, week in, week out. Maybe he'll be able to for the rest of this season because there's not many games left. But, you know, he's getting on a bit now, Vardy. So I'm not sure if we can trust him to be playing all these games. You know, back-to-back doubles, that's a lot of football. I would say Vardy doesn't start all 4. So I think he's an avoid if Roma knock them out. Yeah, so if anyone's not in the Discord, I'll chuck a link in the chat. We'll have a look at the captain poll results now. That's the link. If you're not in the Discord, it's a very good FPL resource. We've got things like the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live scores, it's got the live points, bonus points, Gameweek stats, injury updates, top 10k stats. There's loads in there. Insider trading is always a good one. I'll have to check this out post deadline to see if we've got any you know, accidental leaks from players making moves. And you can pick the alerts as well. So if you wanted to receive the price changes, you know, each night on your phone, then you can do that. Captain poll results, they are as follows. Salah got exactly 300 votes. Bang on. Kane's second with 98. Son got 42 votes. De Bruyne got 34. 29 went for other. If you went for other, let me know who you had the armband on. 14 for Cancelo. And a few for Trent and Robbo. Thank you everyone that did vote on the poll. Appreciate that. I'll put the link in the chat one more time if anyone's interested in joining. Max Savage says Watkins or Richarlison for 35 and 36 in mind. I think Richarlison. Are you saying you're free hitting 37? If you're free hitting 37, then it has to be Watkins, I would say. But I think Richarlison scores more over the rest of the season. So yeah, if that's what you mean, then I would say Watkins between those two. Nick Toll says Barnes to Foden and Wooden or Adams to 5.8 forward for a hit. I don't think I would do Barnes to Foden this week. If I was selling Barnes, I think it would be for someone like Coutinho or Saka or Zaha. Or you bring in Foden in 36. I'm just not sure if Foden starts or not. It's hard to say. I imagine Pep might save him for the Madrid second leg. Midweek, Man City travel to Madrid for the second leg of the Champions League. So he might save Foden for that. Hard to say. If you're going to sell Wood or Adams, then I would say Nketiah if you've only got 5.8 to spend. Jacob says, I'm with you on the Pookie party. Yeah, I'm hoping Pookie finally gets something because I brought him in last week for a decent fixture and he didn't get anything, but he has looked good recently. And Norwich, to be fair, although they look like they're almost certainly going down, they're still putting up a fight and putting in some reasonable performances. So I think Pookie's still a fair option. Marius says, Mount to Coutinho for an extra -4 or keep Mount. I would keep Mount. I think it's worth a -4. I think I would keep holding Mount. He looks more assured for minutes than Havertz is the thinking there. And to be fair, Chelsea got such good fixtures for the rest of the season. They could rotate in that Leeds game, but I think I would keep holding Mount. Let's check if we've got any last minute news or leaks or anything like that. Bear with me. Can't see anything. Nothing yet. We've got about, what, 10 or so minutes till the deadline. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some early Liverpool news right before the deadline, because they're obviously the first kickoff of the day. Nasty Biscuit says, love the name, play Tony or Rafinha. Tony. Foster or Schmeichel? Foster. Havertz to Saka. Yeah, I would do it. Good move. Salah to KDB. I wouldn't do that. I'd only consider Salah to KDB if you're really chasing rank or you're looking for a way to get up your mini league if no one above you owns KDB. But it's a very high risk, high reward move basically. So, you know, if I was to make that move now and it didn't come off and Salah hauled, it would just be, you know, awful for my rank. So, yeah, it's one of those. Depends where you're playing, what you're chasing, and so on. Mendy or Sarr? I would say Mendy. Rohin says, Focal, I have the bench boost and a free hit left. What game weeks is the best to use them? I would go bench boost 36, free hit 37. Mo Omar says, Havertz to Coutinho or Foden, doing a free hit 37. Coutinho. All day between those two for me. Luke says Saka out, Coutinho in. No, I wouldn't make that move. Saka's a good pick. Keep hold of him. Keep the questions coming. We've got about 10 minutes till the deadline. Make sure you've got your bench in the right order, captain on the right player. Jesus or Dennis? Is that who to start or who to bring in or what? I think if you have Jesus, you have to start him, but I'm not sure what his chances are of starting for City. Foden or Coutinho? I would say this week Coutinho. Foster or Sanchez? Sanchez. James says, is Mount going to start? If I was going to put an arbitrary number on it, I would say 70% chance he starts, in my opinion. So there is a chance he doesn't, but it's really hard to say. It's so hard to predict how Tuchel will line up for the next one. Maybe he will rotate some players. Shane says, greetings from Singapore. Greetings, Shane. Thank you for tuning into this deadline stream. I hope you've all enjoyed the stream so far. If you have, please do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel. It's massively appreciated. Thank you. Start Ramsey or Weghorst? Weghorst. Thoughts on Tavares? Good question from Adam. So Tavares, 4.3 mil. I think he's a decent option. Played the full 90 in the last two. It's a good fixture for Arsenal this week against the West Ham side that could well rotate heavily again ahead of their second Europa League leg. So I think I like the Tavares pick. 4.3 mil, playing left back for Arsenal. Tini's out injured for the season. Itigrader says, hi, keep Havertz, Mount, Richarlison for 35 plus, or Dewsbury Hall, De Bruyne and Dennis for -4. I wouldn't be looking to sell Richarlison, and I probably wouldn't be looking to sell Mount. Really, out of those three, I'd just be looking to sell Havertz. But this is just my opinion. I've sold Havertz for Coutinho personally. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be selling Richarlison. He's got back-to-back doubles, 36 and 37. Including 2 home games and 37. They're fighting for their lives, and He's really their main man at the moment. Calvert-Lewin's just not kicked on at all this season, so I don't think I'd sell Richarlison, personally. I think you're overthinking that one. Maybe just make the one move. And I think you're saying you've got 2 transfers, so you could take 2 transfers into 36 and just make the Havertz out move, something like that. 2 transfers heading into 36 is so powerful. If you can avoid it, don't make a transfer just for the sake of it this week. It's honestly the most powerful thing in the game, having 2 transfers heading into a double game week, let alone in any game week. Because really, with a -4, with 2 transfers, you can shake your whole team up. Nick Toll says, Barnes to Coutinho and Wood to 6.5 attacker. Free hitting in 37. That's a good question, that one. Because Coutinho, he's not got a great double in 36, but it is a great fixture this week. And I imagine Barnes is benched for 1, maybe 2 of the next 3 fixtures. And yeah, I think Wood you have to sell. That's a really hard one. You could do Coutinho and Pukki maybe, or Coutinho and Nketiah. It'd be between those. I think maybe Coutinho and Pukki would be the 2 replacements there. I can understand why you'd want to sell Barnes though. He's kind of been in and out of the side, so yeah, I understand the logic in that one. So yeah, I think Coutinho and Pukki would be where I go there. Especially since you're free hitting in 37. Which is when Pukki has Wolves away, which is a tough fixture. George says, is -4 Weghorst worth it? Not worth a -4, no. Jason says, Rafinha to Richarlison in 36. Richarlison's a forward. Do you mean from 2 moves, Jason? I like it. If you mean in 2 moves, yeah, I rate that. Just going to check again in case we've got any last minute news or whatnot. Team News and Ticks is generally reliable for leaks, but he says, I doubt anyone gets the Liverpool team before the deadline for those asking. Doesn't sound promising. But if anyone sees anything, then let us know in the chat. But take everything you see and chat with a pinch of salt. I'll put it that way. Don't panic just because someone says something like, you know, Trent's benched or, you know, Salah's benched, because it could be a troll. FPL Dare in the chat. How you doing, mate? FPL Dare. I've been watching your videos recently, and it must be the most picturesque team selection videos I've ever seen. He's been travelling all over Australia, so he's been recording these videos with like stunning backdrops. You know, I've just got a green screen and my bedroom cabinet behind me, but he's got like the outback behind him in his team selection videos. So I really enjoyed that, actually. Made me laugh when you had to put the sunglasses on because the sun was coming out. Love that. I haven't got my Sunny G's here, actually, otherwise I might have put mine on. He says, good to see you got your voice back. Yeah, I completely lost my voice at Fest. It was honestly like 12 straight hours of chatting to everyone, which was really cool. It was great to meet so many people from the FPL community, like-minded people, subscribers and the like. But yeah, my voice was just ruined for days. Tony says, start Pukki or Dennis. I think Villa have a better defence. Oh, it's really tough, that one. I think I'd start Pukki, but there's not much in it. What do you think in chat? Would you start Pukki or Dennis? That one's honestly about a coin toss, but I'd say probably Pukki. Abdullah says, nothing from your Palace source. No, nothing. Sadly, no news on Palace, so I don't know how they're going to line up either. I've got a few minutes till the deadline. I'm going to keep refreshing in case of any last-minute news, but I don't think we'll get anything. Thick Ace says, Tottenham will blank again. Surely not. Surely not 3 games in a row. Oh, Adam's in the chat. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you, mate. It's been a while. Massive shout out to Adam. He joined my very first ever stream, and it was honestly just like me and Adam chatting for 3 hours. There was no one else tuned in, and I made him a moderator right there and then, and here he is a year later. 70k subs. Unbelievable. What a year it's been. Anyway, No one cares about that. We've got a few minutes till the deadline. I'm not buying these benching rumours in the chat, I have to say. I mean, you might be right, but I think it's guesswork. No one knows. Only Sean says Son or Salah captain. Salah's the safer pick. Son's the higher upside. They are the same on predicted points this week, so I would say, you know, if you're trying to chase the upside, go Son. If you're trying to consolidate, Salah. I'm still trying to push higher, so I've gone for Kane, but there's not much in it. I'm just going to refresh and make sure I've got this all correct. Perfect. Rohan says, I'm planning to wildcard for 36. Got Coutinho in. Should I go Veg for Broja? Are you saying you're going to wildcard into 36? I think if you can do it for free, then sure. But maybe Nketiah is a better 1 week punt before the wildcard in 36. Yeah, take everything you see in the chat with a pinch of salt when people talk about benching and whatnot. Just don't panic and make last minute decisions because of what's in the chat, because I haven't seen any reliable leaks or any news, so. Yeah, I don't see anything. I mean, I don't know if we can trust Reeve. He says Diaz, Jota, Sadio. But that's just, the question was, who do you think the front three will be? So I wouldn't worry about any last minute leaks or news. Just stick to your plan, leave it as is. Hunter says, Dennis or Dallo? Dennis. XD says, Veghorst or Kulu in the starting 11? I think Kulu, just about. Martinelli or Tellez? Tellez. Just not sure if Martinelli starts or not because he's been benched the last couple. Stranger Man says Coutinho captain. Very risky captain, I have to say. Salah, Son and Kane I think are the standouts. Coutinho is the huge differential. Massive upside, but I think Kane and Son offer enough upside. So yeah, I think Kane and Son are the two if you're looking for a differential. Coutinho, he's a reasonable option as well, but it's a hell of a punt. James or Mateta? I would go James. Havertz to Coutinho? Yes. Nketiah for Broja for -4. Probably not worth for -4. German says locked in all caps. That's it. We made it. That is the deadline. Whew, what a stream. Enjoyed that. I'm not going to be able to stick around for much more this morning because I'm heading straight to a stag do. So, is there anyone live who we can raid? Let's have a look. Who's live? Who's this? FPL Insanely Football. Let's just sanity check the stream. Okay, yeah, we're going to go raid this stream. Sorry I can't stick around for much longer to answer more questions and whatnot. But we're going to go to this stream. Insanely Football is their name. Everyone head over there. Say Focal sent you. Thank you so much for tuning into this deadline stream. Hit like before you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. And enjoy the game week. Focal out.